So I wanted to see more Maine nature videos, and that's essentially what this is. There's this kind of idea in pop culture of Maine as like this little idyllic kind of coastal town with like lobster fishermen and all that. And that's not true. That's not Maine, and it never has been. That's an image that has been, it's relatively recent, that's kind of cultivated in order to cater to and encourage the tourism industry in Maine. What Maine, and this might seem a little strange to anyone who's not from Maine or from New England more generally, but this whole area was very, very heavily industrialized. And over the course of the 20th century, the mills and factories and stuff were shut down, abandoned, consolidated. So there is just ruin everywhere. Right over there, and I'll try to get a shot of it on my way out, right over there is the ruins of an abandoned train station. Because right over here, just past that big mud puddle that I went through, is a railroad bed. The railroad bed has been abandoned for as long as I've been alive, and probably well before that. And just beyond that, down the hill a little ways, is worker housing, all the way down to the river. The housing is still there. It's still mostly occupied, but not entirely. For miles in both directions from here was just factories and brickyards. A lot of this area was, back in the early 2000s, my particular city went through a kind of like a beautification process. And so a lot of the areas like this one, the brickyards were torn down or were renovated or that sort of thing. But, you still get areas like this. I'm right in the middle of my city. There are these little pockets, because this town was a mill town, hence the miles of brickyards. So I'm right in the middle of my city. And there's this little pocket of ruin where I can go mudding. I'm less than 5 minutes from my house. It's crazy. Areas outside the cities, especially where I grew up in Western Maine, the whole area is dotted with little like mill towns that have like maybe 100 people left in them, and outside of town, there's always some big industrial ruin, and that's Maine. It's not that idyllic image. It's trees and industrial decay and mud. And that's the reality. That's what it's like here. That's not necessarily a criticism. Well, it is a little bit, but I still like living here. I still like being from here because we are a pretty liberal, progressive state, which is kind of weird for a place that's so rural, but this is my home. This is where I grew up, and I love it here. I do have a certain fondness for urban exploration and exploration of urban decay. Over the course of the summer, I'll see if I can find some places that we can go explore and I can get some good footage of, so you can kind of see more of this. But yeah, I'm going to go try and get... But yeah, so I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me and getting dirty.